this is what if Deku had an explosion quirk and all that. I left off after the whole training camp incident happened. And now it is for Class 1A to move into UA, which they would do. All of them showing off the rooms would go the same. Deku's room would be different, it would be sort of normal. And Bakugo still wouldn't let anybody in his room. But that's besides the point. Right now, they're all preparing their special moves for the license exams and all that. And that's what they're training to do for a month. Everybody would train, including Deku and Bakugo, until it's time. When it's time, it'll be the combat. Deku and Bakugo would jump off away from everybody, and they would simultaneously throw an explosion, knocking back everybody that went to attack them, and they would take out the people that they needed to in that instant. Being the first two people to finish up, and they would go. And yeah, everything go the same. Bakugo would get ticked off and yell at one of the people that he's trying to save, and he would get marked down for that. Todoroki would not work with the wind guy, so he would have points taken off too. And all that. But Deku would pass since he's not hot-headed like both of them. And yeah, that would be it. Now it's for the third years to show the first years how it's done. It will be Mario versus Deku and Bakugo in all Class 1A. It would all end the same with everybody getting punched and all that. I would say that Deku and Bakugo would be alive, or be not alive, but I mean still be standing since they're blocking the punches to the stomach. Mario wouldn't be using one for all, which Deku would, I would say, explode straight in front of him, grabbing him whenever he tries to permeate, grabbing him by the neck, and punching him right there to make him gasp for air where he can't go and permeate, since he has heard about his quirk and All Might explained it to him before this. And he would say, why aren't you using your true power? Swing an explosion. And he would explode sideways, but of course Mario would hold his breath for a real second, go through the one and pop back up there, gasping for air, and he would turn on one fall since he thinks that Deku knows what his powers are and all that. And they would go at it. Nobody would be winning since Mario's over here using 50%. So he's doing smashes, which Deku and Bakugo would counter with explosions. And all that. And he can permeate through them attacks, and the only way that they can really stop him from permeating through their attacks is for one of them to get up there and stop him from holding his breath and making him lose his breath. So, yeah, so Deku would be on that job, since he actually has close combat training from and all that, while Bakugo would be in the back, exploding him. But it would end up with the match being called off, since they don't want to escalate it anymore. And all three of them are worn out. So yeah. And not have any quirks unlocked. Just explain that to you, he does not have Black Whip. But yeah. After this, Bakugo would have to go to, he has to go through these trainings to get his license, makeup and pretty much all that. While Deku would be brought in by Night Eye for pretty much the work studies. And so yeah, when he gets there, he would see Mirio and Leo walk up there. Of course, Deku wouldn't do anything to try to make him laugh. Since Night Eye's saying, weren't talking about how he would not All Might choose you for all, not Mirio first. Explain that, prove it, giving him a test to try to get this stamp from him, and Deku would do it, exploding wall to wall, getting up to him, and he would try to grab it, but of course, not I would be able to see what he's gonna do, and he knows about his quirk. He either is following his movements or the movements following the room. So what Deku would do, he would start making smoke come from his hand, and he would explode it, covering the whole room in smoke. Not exploding through it, but dashing through it, going around the walls. He would get up to Night Eye, putting out his hands, trying to grab it, but of course he would miss. So he used a flashbang in one hand and swing over and grab it, and all that. He would pass with Mirio saying, is that some kind of diversion that you use for the flashbang and all that? And so he would go, but Night Eye would suggest him to have goggles where he can see through it, just in case if he blinds himself. But yeah, he will be written on the overhaul situation and all that, and they would go off onto patrol like he's supposed to do. They wouldn't find anything until a little girl would run down the alley with a horn and cut marks on her. And that's where the overhaul comes from it, telling her to come back and leave. Of course, Deku is ready to just try to fight him, but Mirio would put his hand on his back and pretty much looking at him, telling him not to do it. And they would go back, report to Night Eye what's going on, and they would get ready for a break-in attempt to them, and all that. They'll get the team together, with the attack squad being Deku, Mirio, for the students, and Kaminari, or no, why did I say Kaminari, but I mean, hard dude, best boy, I forgot his name, Kirishima. So yeah, well, people want to be in the outside, taking down the people guarding it. That would happen with them dashing through, and it would get to the point where the person would start controlling the room, and Deku would tell all the police and people that can't stand what's gonna happen, telling the dude with the lock quirk to lock the ground and all that, and everybody get out of the hallway, which what Deku would do would obliterate the whole walls and everything in it, launching the dude out of it, since he can't move, and he would explode towards him as he tries to go dip into the wall again, grabbing his back of his arm and locking him there, and knocking him out with an explosion. But when this happens, he would wake up before that, creating a wall blocking him off. Wow, twice, and what's her name? You know, the blood quirk girl would jump down, and there was Toga, and he'll get into a fight with Twice making compress to kind of capture him, but Deku would explode back the marble and hit the dude in the compress clone and explode him, and he'll try to grab onto Twice, but he'll just end up ripping his mask, which would make Twice freak out, and Toga would take him and go off. But when this happens, Deku would see as Mirio would come through the wall, telling them that I'm told to go ahead. If you want to come with me, come. And they would, with Deku exploding a hole through the wall, and he'll be blasting off with them, and they'll be running, and he would explode the wall that was blocking everybody else from coming, and they would continue, and all that, and they would run into some people. Deku would be stopped by a dude who was trying to punch on him, while Mirio would be put with the wall. But Mirio's quirk would allow him to go through, which you'd say the dude's quirk is troublesome since I can't block him. So you take him on, and I'll take up the cage over here with the explosions. Together, and this happened, but it would end with Deku pretty much pummeling at his shield, and the punching dude would be blocked from his punches since the dude with the barriers would try to protect him. But Mirio would slip through all the stuff coming from the ground and would punch the dude with the barrier with one for all. It would end up with Deku charging up attack, piercing and destroying the barrier, punching the puncher guy, and while Mirio would take down the dude with the barrier, with the police that were behind them would take them, and they would run into the dude with the drunk quirk, with them shooting on him, but Mirio would of course dodge it like he did, and Deku would put out his hands, and all the bullets that shot at him, he would explode them and melt them away. But they would be taken down by Mirio fairly easy, and they would go in to the room where Overhaul is. Deku would explode over there, grabbing the dude that was next to Overhaul with the gun, and would explode the gun, breaking it, and would take him down, knocking him out. While Mirio would fight against Overhaul, which would go with Overhaul doing a whole move and changing into the monster. Mirio would be taking him down without even using one flaw throughout it. And then he would transform into the big monster. What deck he would be holding Eerie or Airy. When this happens, Airy would jump onto Mirio's back. He'd go 100. Nothing would happen, but what would happen is that the rebel would be going towards Airy, and while Deku or going towards all the police on the ground, everything out, he would extend his hand with something coming out of it, and it would be Black Whip, grabbing onto it, and he would smash it directly into Overhaul. He would fall on top of him, and there were 100% smashes, taking him out. He would pass out with Eerie on top of him, and yeah, that would be so far it. After this, Eerie would be taken in, her quirk would be explained. That is not a regular mirror type quirk, it'll be an extorter quirk. And yeah, this would be the end of this What If. Goodbye.